Okay, so um, I came across another paper that I wrote while I was at the University of Oregon back in 2013, before all of this crap unfolded in the news. And I find it kind of ironic, but I was taking an English class, 407, um, for with Professor Ford, and I think this was the one with Professor Ford, and we were studying African American poetry, and I wrote a paper called Myths and Masks of Culture Queens in African American Poetry. Often a woman's identity is closely tied to her appearance and how she presents herself to others. In America, to be a female comes with an expectation to be physically beautiful. We live in a culture that extols white female beauty epitomized by blonde sex symbols such as Marilyn Monroe. In such a cultural context, the physical appearance of Black women has typically been degraded and devalued, sending a message of denigration that Black women still grapple with today. The struggle to celebrate Black female beauty in a culture that relentlessly imposes white beauty standards is the subject of many modern American poems, or modern African American poems, depicting Black female icons such as Evie Shockley's Celestial and Shirley Ann Williams' I Want Aretha to Set This to Music. However, I suggest that in these two poems, the celebration of African American culture queens obstinately continues to perpetuate an underlying demand for Black women either to conform to white society and alter their appearance or wear a mask in order to hide the pain of rejection. In Williams' poem, I Want Aretha to Set This to Music, the speaker acknowledges her Blackness as a prison and subsequently struggles to accept her Black womanhood. The reference to the speaker's appearance and the wearing of a mask to hide pain are familiar elements in this poem. I Want Aretha to Set This to Music begins with a description of the speaker's physical appearance and makes the point that her sense of identity is strongly tied to the way she looks. I have been a prisoner of my own dark skin and fleshy lips, walked that same high buddy strut despite all this, rejected the mask my mother wore, and wear it now myself. It's lines 5 through 14. An iconic figure who embodies positive qualities can be a healthy role model. The speaker views Aretha Franklin, the queen of soul, as a victim who wears a mask to cover the pain of being an African American woman. I see the mask, sense the girl and the woman you became, wonder if mask and woman are one, if pain is the sum of all your knowing, victim the only game you learned. Wearing a mask does not serve the average Black female well. I'm going to put a little thing in there, unless of course it's the coronavirus epidemic. I'm talking about a different type of mask. It continues the denial of value for a large portion of African American women who feel inadequate because of their appearance. In a similar poem, Celestial by Evie Shockley, it weaves the images of Ella Fitzgerald and Marilyn Monroe together. She blends together references to both women in what may be a celebration of the two well-known female icons. One might read in this juxtaposition of Fitzgerald and Monroe, that black is beautiful, which it is. That the image of Ella is just as beautiful as the image of Marilyn. However, the poem also registers that black women face continual pressure to conform to white beauty standards. 1 week at the Mocambo, her name was Norma. She wasn't normal. Blonde. Her name was Marilyn. The I in angelic. First person. Created. An immaculate concept. The image of pure beauty. Sound. Power. Her name was Ella. E-L-L-E in French. All women. I enjoyed writing this paper, and I got to meet Evie Shockley and let her know what how I enjoyed her poem. I happen to enjoy poetry, and I feel privileged getting the chance to study Black history and Black poetry, often written by people in prison, actually. And now I'm watching the news, watching a lot of people, good people, decent people getting arrested, and good, decent people getting killed by our largely white police force, led by a large and white president whose wife plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech. So I have some issues with dictators. I also have some issues with fascists. I have a lot of friends from different cultures and skin colors and gender identities, and I think they're all beautiful people, and I would hate to see anything happen to them and have them targeted. I have friends who are Asian and Jewish and Black, but they're not even African American. They're from a different tribe. And I have mixed race friends, couples, and I have friends who are Muslim, white. I have friends who are actually conservative Republican Trump voters, gun owners, hunters. I have family members who are all sorts of social, economic, up and down the ladder. I have friends who are professors at the university, and I have friends who are homeless and on the street, from the top to the bottom. And I have fantasies where we create a world where we fight wars with flowers and food, not guns and bombs and violence. If we have to, we just scream it out. We cuss, but we don't kill. We don't maim. That's my dream. We forgive for mistakes.